Awesome.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hi, Amy. Thanks for joining me. It's been a while.
So excited to be back together. I haven't talked about money like this in like 2 weeks. I've been missing it.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
Been so
Yes.
busy.
Yeah.
Um, well, thanks for joining. And if you want to just do a quick intro for those who maybe haven't watched our other videos.
Yeah. I'm Amy Ruggeri. I operate a financial services agency with my husband called the Ruggeri Group. And one of the things that we really love to do is just normalize talking about money with people and teaching people the basic fundamentals in a way they can understand it and having a plan, like, and having
Hmm.
a direction that we're going and making it fun and easy.
Yeah.
And so that's who I am.
Yes. Yeah. It shouldn't be so scary. It really should not be. Yeah, I'm Rachel. For those who don't know, I'm a financial wellness coach and my business is effortless budgeting. And just to kind of piggyback off what Amy said, like if you're finding putting together a budget or just getting your financial plan like up and running and you hate it and you're miserable, then either maybe it's time to get some help or maybe you're not working with the right people. Because it is important. It's just like anything. If you have a partner in something that's helping you through it, it shouldn't feel so bad. It should be like you're like excited to move forward and to get it done. And so I just like one thing that I do is like when I do recommend different things to people, whether it be a financial advisor or a travel agent or any of those types of things, I recommend them meeting with 2 or 3 people so they can get like a real good feel for
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah.
So Amy is really great with like the money mindset, and really it's more than just like figuring out where you should put your money. It's a whole process, and it's really exciting when you start to get into it. So anyway, Amy and I are going to talk today about the importance of that sort of emergency savings. So this is not your retirement, this is not your IRA. This is like just literally that savings account that you have. And we're just going to talk a little bit about maybe what that should look like and why you should have one. So Amy, do you mind just kind of kicking us
Yeah.
off and giving us
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Yeah. So with the emergency fund, I'm sure you find this, Rachel. I know with us, when we're working with our clients, we find this. The emergency fund, or AKA my grandma called it the rainy day fund, it's really a safety net.
Yeah.
It's the thing that most of us aren't taught to have in place. It's hard. We don't know how much. It just doesn't feel possible. The whole idea of pay yourself first. What? Pay
Mm-hmm.
myself first. It's probably one of the most important things to relieve stress out of a money situation, because we all know rainy days happen. It's
Yeah.
inevitable. Nobody is exempt from having one. It's not if it happens, it's when it happens,
Yeah.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we do a lot of talking about preparedness, having something really short term, but then also having something that's maybe a little bit bigger, not emergencies, but like
Mm-hmm.
things like having a roof put on a house
Right.
or buying a
Yep.
new vehicle, things that are a little bit out there, but we still have to plan and prepare for them.
Yeah.
So I think this conversation is maybe going to be a little bit more about planning and preparing than the actual how much, what is, all of that, because that's different for
It,
everyone.
it is
So
different for everybody. We can give like a quick overview at the end.
yeah.
But I think that what's interesting, if that's the right word, in this society is what credit card companies and banks tell you to do for
Yeah.
emergencies is to put it on a credit card or take out a personal loan because, hey, personal loans have low interest rates, or take out, you know, the word is slipping my
Home
mind.
equity.
Thank you. A
Home
home
equity.
equity
A
loan.
lot
Yep.
of that. Yep.
Because again, like those are, you look at a credit card, 27% interest, and you look at a home equity at maybe 5%. Okay,
Mhm.
that sounds like a great idea. And we're not saying there's something wrong with that and you should never take out a loan. But for things like a roof on your house, those are great things to save for. Now, a storm happens and suddenly you have a hole in your roof and you have no choice.
Sure.
But that's why we're going to talk about like putting this savings into place, because it really is there for those sort of extra things or those emergencies that we don't necessarily fit into our monthly budget, right? Um, I mean, a lot of people right now, if I said you need new tires in your car and you need a new muffler,
Yep.
they might panic. Well,
Yep.
I don't have that kind of money. But the reality is that you might need your new tires in your car, and you might need a new muffler. And so Amy and I we just want to, encourage people to think about that emergency savings plan, because we don't want people to panic about it, right? We don't want people to feel like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? I guess I'm just adding it to the rest of my debt that I already have. We don't want that. And so you got to start, right? And you're not going to have the exact amount you're supposed to have today. But like Amy, you mentioned paying yourself first. So can you just give a little update on what you think that means?
Yeah, for me, I know paying yourself first is automating savings.
Mhm.
Because let's be real, we're humans. Most of us, maybe there's the 1 or 2% out there that are like, just like, oh, I can do it. I'm extra motivated. I'm never going to make, silly money mistakes. I shouldn't say mistakes, but prioritizing maybe in the not
Mhm.
the right order. That's not most of us are not that way, so automating it, and it doesn't have to be like this. I think the one thing I notice with people in money, it's all or nothing mentality.
Yeah.
Start with 10 or
Mhm. Yeah.
$20 a pay. Maybe if you make a little bit more, that looks like 50 or 100 a pay. Maybe, wherever your bracket is, you don't compare yourself to what everybody else is doing. Start someplace. Have it just, taken out banking options. There are so many tools and resources that are out there. Ask your bank, how do I have an automatic 25 bucks a week come out every
Mhm.
Friday when I get
Mhm.
paid?
Mhm.
Whatever it is, it's the same thing with your 401k at work. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
automatic. That's the only reason why
Yes.
people save for retirement in that place, not this discussion, but because it's forced. You have to
Yeah.
force that savings. Financial advisors can help you with that too. There's all kinds of different things. But if you don't know what resources are available, that's where Rachel comes in handy. That's where we come in handy. Ask, because
Yeah.
we know where they all exist.
Yeah.
You don't have to go looking. It doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to find anything. You don't have to invest a bunch of time. Just taking a little action step now,
Yeah.
um, you'll find that it becomes habit. It becomes easy. You don't even know it's gone
Yeah.
because
Habit.
you literally don't know it's gone. Your hands haven't
Mhm.
touched it.
So I just posted this on LinkedIn, oh boy, on Instagram today. It says
Uh-huh.
never underestimate the big importance of small things.
Yeah.
It's in a novel that I'm reading. So it's not a quote that I know of from somebody, but it just really struck me, like you said, like start with $10. It's just like saying I want to lose 100 pounds.
Yep.
You don't wake up tomorrow with 100 pounds thinner. You wake up maybe 1 pound thinner and you feel good about that. So start with $10 because it is a habit, right? You've got to build this habit into your life and absolutely make it automated. Oh gosh, don't think about it every single month. Don't think, okay, what you shouldn't do is think, how much can I afford to put in my savings this month? It should be how much really like should I start putting in there? And again, you can make up a number or you can reach out for some help and guidance to figure out that number, but put that into your budget first and then say, okay, now how much money do I have left over that I can go order takeout or that I can go out with my friends or
Yep.
whatever it is. But yeah, start small and just have it set up. I mean, I have auto payments for my 401k. I also have auto payments for my IRA. I put a
Yep.
small amount in my IRA every
Yep.
month, and I have auto payments for my savings. Um, and I don't think about it. I make sure that you remember that it's in there though, right? Because you don't want money to just be coming out of your account without you remembering it. But as long as you have it written down and you remember that that money's coming out, take it out, put it in your savings. So we've got automated, right? We're just going to automate it. We're going to take out a certain amount. If you've never done it before, start small. Absolutely. Take $10 out this month and up it to $20 next month and then reevaluate and see how you feel. Do you still have extra money? Try
Yep.
$25. I mean, it can be in very small increments. And then then people might ask, like, I mean, yes, okay, if I need new tires, but what if my car's I just bought it and it's brand new? Why do I need a savings account? What would you say to that, Amy, if someone's like, why do I really need it? Like I've got credit, I've got enough money that I just sort of make in my paycheck, right? Like, why do I even need that emergency savings?
Well, because that situation doesn't happen for very many people. The
Well, yeah.
majority of people, with or without money. And I'm talking people, a lot of people go, oh, they make 100 grand a year. They make 200 grand a year. They have it all. No, 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 nobody is exempt for this. There's
Yeah.
always going to be a situation where it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, and paying anything in interest on credit cards is silly.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
silly business. You don't do it if you don't have to do it. And people will
mhm.
go, "Oh, I'm going to get points and everything like that." Okay. But then you're paying for those points if you pay interest, if you don't pay off your balance
And
every month.
you're paying way more. Like I use credit cards. I don't carry a balance, so I don't pay interest, and I get points and I get cash back, but it's not as much cash back as I would be getting if I was paying interest. So,
Well, and also think of this control that you have. When
mhm,
you don't have credit limits up and you have cash at hand and you have open, whatever, you're in the driver's seat. You
mhm,
now become, for the first time with money, the person that's in control.
yeah,
You can say, "Hey, if I have a whole bunch of cash, like right now we're in a down market. Guess what I want to do?
yeah,
I want to invest a lot of money.
mhm,
Dang, do I wish I had a whole bunch of cash sitting around that I didn't have anything to do with right now, because I have an opportunity that I could like monopolize
yeah.
when everybody else is freaking out. That cash and savings could put me in a position. I mean,
Well,
there's opportunities that come up that if you don't have the cash and the credit and the already lined up, when those rare opportunities happen, you miss them.
and the thing with interest rates right now is, yeah, you think like in a negative sense, if you don't have the money in the right place, you're thinking of interest rates going up as a bad thing. In my life, interest rates going up is a good thing because I did refinance my home at a good time,
Yeah.
and I have money in the savings
Praise
account.
Jesus on that,
Yeah,
right?
I know, I know.
Same.
I have money in a savings account that is now making 2.1% interest, I think, which is still right. I mean, come on.
Which right
It's not
now,
gonna make
that's not a
not
bad
gonna
thing.
make me rich. However, 2, 3 years ago, I had my money in a different account and was making like 0.02% interest. So when you think about that, like now is a good time to start that savings, right? We don't want all our money to be tied up in
Yeah.
a 401k. So something else that could potentially be just for you to think about if you're really tight with your budget and you're really struggling to try to find that extra money. If your employer matches like 3% in your 401k and you're putting 5% in there,
Mhm.
again, I'm not recommending this for everybody, but maybe if you're really struggling, if you've really put together a budget and you've really tried to figure it out and you just don't have enough money for your savings, scale back a little bit on your 401k and put that in
Yep.
your savings. Because the last thing you want to do is take out a loan on your 401k. You are missing out on
Correct.
earning interest. That's just another bill you're paying, and you just don't want to do it. So it's better off to not put that in there as long as you're putting in what your employer matches. But maybe you can scale back a little bit on that and put some in your savings because yeah, we actually did need a new roof on our house in 2020. We had a critter that was coming into a roof. And we didn't know. We had, so, but we were able to pay for it because we had a savings. Now, was it
Yeah.
super easy to build that right back up and throw all that money back in there?
Yes.
No, but we had it in there already. And so we were able to slowly build it back up. And did I want to spend that money on a new roof? It's not
No.
glamorous, right? I don't notice that I have a new roof, but I'm so glad I had that money because it was needed. Just like, new tires are not something that you necessarily think about, but we all at some point in the lifespan of a car need new tires,
Yeah.
sometimes more than once, especially if we live in a place like Cleveland.
Yep.
Uh, um, yeah, and so like that's what a savings account is for. And that's what I want to make sure people know is like a savings account is not just to brag and say, oh, look at all this money I have in my account that I'm just staring at for no good reason and I'm never going to spend it. Really, a savings account is supposed to be for spending, right? I mean, that's why we have it in there. And I don't mean you should put $1,000 immediately, take it out and spend it on something fun, but that's why we have a savings is to spend it when things do come up that is not in our regular budget.
Yes. Yes.
Something with your home, something with your car, who knows, there could be any number of medical expenses, there could be any number of things that come up. And so you shouldn't feel guilty, first of all, which I do have clients that feel guilty spending their savings. You
Sure.
shouldn't feel guilty
Well, you
spending your
worked hard for it, right? It's so
because you've worked
hard
hard
to
for it.
work
Yeah. Uh-huh. But that's why it's there for that like peace of mind. So you're not panicking, when something comes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So again, don't look at your savings account as just money that's sitting in there that just looks pretty and it's earning a small amount, even though it's a good amount these days, but a small amount of interest. You look at it like, this is for my peace of mind.
It is exactly it.
Yes. This is when something comes up that, like you said earlier, Amy, I am in control of this money.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you put something on a credit card, or even when you take out a loan, you're not in control of all of that money. Because number one, you absolutely have to make your monthly payments. They will come after you if you don't do so. And you're also paying interest, which is not, it's extra money that you're almost throwing away.
It's a lot of extra money.
Yeah. And there
And
may
you
be,
get
again,
paid
this is
for it.
not the conversation,
Yeah.
but there may be a time or place to take out a loan. But as far as like having a savings account, like that's what it's
Yeah.
there for. And you could even use a savings account for something like going on vacation. Like that's
Yeah.
not maybe something you
Christmas, I
regularly.
was just thinking about Christmas
Yeah.
coming up. Perfect example.
Yeah. Vacation, Christmas, holidays, gifts. But what I want you to think about, I'm sure what we both want you all to think about, is why you're putting that money in your savings.
Yep.
So what I want from my clients is for them to just feel good about the money that they're spending.
Yeah.
Whether they're spending it on gifts or a vacation or a new roof, like it really doesn't matter. What matters is that they feel comfortable and they feel positive and good about the money that they've spent. So think about it. Like, what would you want to put it into savings? Do you want to put stuff in there for emergencies? I hope so, because that's important. But do you also want to go on a nice vacation next year? Do you also want to buy new furniture for your living room? Like, that's why you put money in savings, because then you take it out guilt-free and you spend it on the things that you planned on spending it on. Oh my
Money
gosh.
is a great resource, Rachel. You
Yes,
just gotta know
yes.
how to use it.
Yeah, it is a great, and I think it's really just challenging for people to start thinking in a different way.
Yep.
And to having sort of creating those different habits. But again, start small then. If this is something that feels very overwhelming to you, start small and then reevaluate how you feel. Okay, I've been putting $20 in my savings account for the last 3 months. How am I feeling? Am I missing that $20? Do I wish I had it? Do I feel good that I now have $60 in there that, just in case something small comes up, I would be able to pay for it? How are you feeling? And then you can reevaluate and maybe add a little bit more, because chances are you're feeling really good about it and not negative. And it seems scary at first, but it's not. Gosh, I feel like we're rushing because there's so much to get through with this.
There is.
But I do want to just give like a general idea of like what people should have in their savings account. And again, everyone's different. So this is not a hard and fast rule for everybody. But the general rule of thumb, if you're just getting started, is to work towards $1,000. You have $1,000 in there, you should pat yourself on the back. And you should feel really good about your progress. So that is like, it's not going to buy you a new roof, but it will,
Covers most emergencies.
It will cover most emergencies. Exactly. So that's sort of what that $1,000 is for. And then after that, the recommendation for just sort of regularly keeping an amount in there is 3 to 6 months of your expenses. I've also heard 3 to 6 months of your income. So those are probably not terribly far off. But again, start small. I don't want people to look at that and think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to have 6 months. Well, don't worry about it. Get $1,000. Start with that. And the other thing is like set a goal date too. Like I want $1,000 in my account by, and be very specific, by, February 1st, I want to have $1,000 in there and then work backwards. Okay. Now how much do you need to put in there every month in order to get there to your goal? So yeah, those are very generalized rules, nothing that everybody in the world should strive for. But could just be a good
place to start.
Exactly. Okay, well, I feel like it was really rushed. We could probably talk about this again, and maybe we will.
Yeah,
yeah. So just a recap real quick, make it automated, make an auto payment just to go to your savings. If you don't have a savings, maybe look for ones with a little bit higher interest rates. Typically your regular banks probably aren't going to have it. I have an Ally account. There's a USAA, which I think mostly is just for veterans and families that have veterans. There's another one. I don't know what it is, but do some research and see which ones are paying a little bit better interest rates, and just open one up and have it automatic. I don't care if it's $10, get it started, and work towards that $1,000.
Love it, Rachel.
Great. Well, Amy, do you want to give us a little bit more information about who you are and maybe where we can find you and some of your fantastic tips and tricks?
Yeah, you can find me on social media. I'm on both Facebook and Instagram. First name, last name on Facebook, and then first name dot Ruggeri on Instagram. And then I also run a free resource community on Facebook called Smart Money Moves. Dash the Ruggeri group. It is a private group, but anybody who's watching is more than welcome to join. Reach out to me, reach out to Rachel. We will get you inside of that group where we normalize the money conversation and talk about money mindset and tips.
Yeah, love it. It's a really great group, so people really should join. For me, Rachel Dorsey, Effortless Budgeting. My website is effortlessbudgeting.com. And I am on LinkedIn. Nope. Why do I keep saying that?
No more LinkedIn.
I am on LinkedIn, but I'm getting there. I am on Instagram and Facebook under Effortless Budgeting. So if you're on those platforms, you can search that and follow me there. And then my Instagram, which I am just sort of getting used to using more, is just my first and last name. So you can feel free to connect with me there. And then also, hopefully you're watching this on my YouTube channel, but if you're not, I also have a YouTube channel under Effortless Budgeting where I've posted quite a few videos with Amy and myself and some other folks around all different kinds of topics around money. So hopefully we've made this kind of easy and not so scary, and giving you maybe some good motivation to get some of that money into a savings account.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Take care.